It's just turned 2 o'clock. I'm here. Um, it's been just an unusual week. If you go to davidshurter.com, my blog, you can see all of the shit that I've had to deal with in the last few days. I have learned things about myself I didn't know. I didn't realize that I've been a coke addict. I didn't realize that I guess I'm a felon who had a sawed off shotgun, and I had to actually ask someone what was the purpose of a sawed off shotgun because I just didn't, you know. I guess I trafficked kids when I was 20, you know. These people have been on top of me for decades, trying to find out anything they possibly can. And there's nothing there to find out. That's why I've never cared about it. But now they're just making shit up. And it's not like I lived in a vacuum. You know, it's just. See, after it was explained to me why, I have no interest. You know, again, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. It's so much more interesting to let heaven enact vengeance because heaven works in mysterious ways. So the last email that I've gotten, which was, I think it was last night. I read it this morning, but it was from the Australian dude, that Chris McKempsey Jones idiot that's involved with Thomas Schoenberger, and he he was just like, Thomas has gone silent. So that just probably means that he's just planning on, dealing with you, blah, 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 blah. After Thomas has spouted all of this stupid shit to me, because if you go, it's just screenshots of the emails. You can go read the emails. But after dealing with him, I pointed out to Thomas that now that Trump and Musk are fighting, and they've brought up once again this whole Jeffrey Epstein bullshit, it's not just going to go away. They're going to have to they're going to have to throw some red meat to their rabid followers to actually, hey, Susan, to get things calmed down. And who better to throw to the wolves than some rogue CIA agent who was working with a Satanist who ran the Satanic Temple, and that's who's all behind Jeffrey Epstein and all of that. And I think Thomas heard the truth in what I'm saying. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I know this group eats their own. I know they're going to need some sort of fresh meat to throw to the wolves. And there's a ring of truth when I said it that you can almost hear. No. Hey. Needless to say, it'll make great television. You know? If I were them, I'd be afraid. This group has no allegiances to anybody or anything. And so they're all expendable. And I think I think that was the issue. Thomas didn't like what I had to say about that. Because it's not just going to go away. It's festering and feeding itself. It's funny how the darkness works like that. It likes to play with its prey before it claims them. And so, but I've never been a cocaine addict. Cocaine costs a lot of money. Where did they think I was getting the money for this. And a sawed off shotgun, I just didn't hang with people who had guns. Nobody that I know has guns. Or if they do, it's not anything that they parade around about. But I've never had a gun. And the only honest thing that was said last week was through the Andy Villa account. And it was Doug Mesner, aka Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, who told me I didn't know Isaac Cappy, by the way. And I know that the way he meant it was bullshit, because obviously Fiona Barnett, myself, and Isaac Cappy did Periscope things all the time, because we would call Isaac and he would just say, "Hey, can I put you on Periscope?" And I'd say, "Sure." Fiona always said, "Sure." So, but he's right, because I didn't even really know Isaac. The conversation, I've said it before, was pretty narcissistic on my part. All we ever talked about was my training, what I went through in Omaha, Michael Aquino being my handler. That's all we ever talked about. Had I known who Isaac Cappy, the type of people Isaac Cappy was hanging with, we, I would not have associated with him at all. At all. I would have cut all associations off because, you know, unfortunately, the dude was a liability. And now that's what Thomas and Lucian Greaves and all of them, that's what they've become. That's been my goal in all of this because I knew that if people investigated them, they would become liabilities. That's why I say, in the end, they will feel exactly what those children felt. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. Nobody's coming to save them. They can't save themselves, and what's about ready to embrace them is worse than they ever, ever anticipated. It does seem like that. The emails, they're crazy making, you know? Oh, Sherilyn has something to say. Please listen if you are an adult. She asked me, and I told her, please say this. You know, that this is a channel that's not designed for children. This is a channel that it deals with child trafficking and the stuff that I've had to deal with and the murders that I've had to go through with the survivors and advocates who have tried to expose this. It's not for children. So if you come in here acting a fool, saying stupid, immature bullshit and all of that, Sherilyn is going to block you. Sherilyn, there's a no play thing going on in here. That's the little check mark box that I had to mark. No play. That was what I checked. And so Sherilyn doesn't play. And if you're gonna come in here and act like an idiot and say stupid shit or rude shit, she's just gonna assume you're a kid and you get blocked. And it's just there's not gonna be any play. Not that there has been for a long time. I've been really happy with Sherilyn being the moderator because she's taken my direction. I just asked her, please don't play. The minute you have an inkling, just block them. And then if it's a mistake, which has been made before, Smokey's friend Bluck, you know, then it gets reversed. But no, zero tolerance. That's exactly it. Zero tolerance. Sherilyn will have zero tolerance. And that's how I like it. And as far as I'm concerned, this is my venue. It's my channel. I set this up. I do the shit. And so I don't need permission from anybody. let alone a bunch of damn trolls who just want to cause problems. And so, um, and Sherilyn has full authority over blocking Midwest. We're the Midwest, USA. Thank you, Sherilyn. I This week has been exhausting, but I've been working on stuff. That quilt that I'm doing for Fiona, I have to get it done, and so it's quilts take a lot of work, you know. She's only been after me for 10 years, and so I'm trying to get that done. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted, and the stuff that's been going on in the world, let alone the emails and all of that. You know, I got the lock exchanged, switched out, so we'll see if that helps. You know, in comparison to one to the other, let me tell you, there's a big difference between locks. The one that I took out of the door felt like a toy compared to the one that I just put in. And so it was, we'll see. But it's like I said to Schoenberger this week. I think that their focus now is we're such idiots that we couldn't possibly be guilty of what David says we're guilty of because we're too idiotic to even be capable of it. I think that Trump versus Musk, I think the Epstein stuff was probably it's just going to fuel everything. And they're going to throw people under the bus. It's about ready to become interesting. And so there's just a lot of shit going on, Smokey. Sherilyn and I do hook up though. I mean that's probably the wrong when I we get together, you know, break bread, you know, she has to I mean, Sherilyn is my friend. And so I have friends in here and we were laughing just cuz I told Sherilyn that I guess I guess I what I was told was that I was a coke addict from the age of 19 to 35. And so I don't know exactly where I got this coke, but then I just figured that they'll tell people that even though we lived in completely different states, Smokey was my dealer. He was 8, and we were all part of MS-13. And we, I can't even think of the stupid shit. Break bread, eat together. Eat. That's what I mean by breaking bread. Sitting down and actually eating a meal and having conversation and interacting with each other, historically speaking, throughout mankind, that's always made a big difference, you know? And so, oh, I wish I was 32. I'm so not 32. But, uh, but thank you. Um, when I go, if I occasionally I'll go and buy a bottle of wine. I haven't for a long time, but at Hy-Vee, and it's funny because I always ask them, "Are you sure you don't need to? I need you need to look at my ID and make sure that I'm not 16." And they always laugh. And then some of them actually look at me and feel sorry for me because they're just like, "Oh, you don't think you look 16, do you?" No, but it's something funny to say, you know. But I think it's a very bad day to be a child trafficker right now because they're going to start throwing each other under the bus to save themselves. And at this point, it's inevitable. it is inevitable. They're not. It's not just going to go away. All the shit that just happened and just went down, and these two big egocentristic, narcissistic nightmares. It was only a matter of time. That's just it, Smokey. It won't make any difference because you have a time machine and you were able to zap yourself forward or backwards in time. And as you can tell from the email, I didn't even respond to half of the shit because I didn't know what to say because it was so idiotic and so bizarre. I'm drinking sun tea. That's I made sun tea. I went out to the Dollar General thing and got one of those sun tea makers, and then I make sun tea every other day. It's good because the sun from when it brews the tea, it actually kind of makes it sweet. So it's like drinking a treat, and all it is just tea and water. Put it out in the sun. It's great. And so the stuff that was said, you just have to go read. And I mean, there's a lot of emails. I think that one of the posts has like 30 something screenshots. It's just, and then they tell me this Arthur Reed person who is either Daniel Dowd or he's one of them. And I believe that Arthur Reed could very well be um, Lucian Greaves. I think he could very well be founder of the Satanic Temple. And said, "No one is breaking into your house, David. You're crazy." And then proceeded in the same email to brag about the computer they broke into my house and stole. And he says, "Oh, that computer that you care so much about." I could not give a fuck less about that computer. When I think back, when I think on that whole thing, two things. Oh, yes, I am pissed off. I'm pissed off that they get into my fucking house and then brag about it. That is, if someone broke into your house all the time and then bragged about it, I think that you would have an emotional reaction to it. I think it's just appropriate. But when it comes down to that freaking laptop, what pisses me off is I had no idea how expensive that bag was. It was a really nice leather bag that was given to me. And when I went to go replace it, I had no clue how expensive that fucking bag was. And that's what pisses me off. You know? Oh, he's not a real therapist. He's just fucking he's trash. They're child traffickers trying to protect their operation. You know? That's what they are. They're a bunch of fucking criminals. And so it just gets to be exhausting. And this is what they do to other people. You know, this is what they do. This is what they're doing to Nathan Stoltman. That's the reason why it's driving Nathan Stoltman crazy. This is what they've done. The difference between them doing that to others and them doing that to me is I'm kind of established in the way that I'm able to do stuff. So I'm able to show it. And I also am not going to go run away afraid. You know, I'm not going to go run away afraid. Fuck them. You know, fuck them. They're an abomination. And people give them way too much credit for things. They, people make them way more powerful and way more than what they really are. They are deceivers. Oh, they can be lethal, but they're, for the most part, most of them, at least what I've encountered, are dumb as fucking rocks. You know, they're just entitled pieces of shit who just think that they can just do whatever they want and it's gonna work, and it doesn't. And when I was a kid growing up and having to deal with Michael Aquino and the people above Michael Aquino and then Alan Baer and all of that, I thought, oh my God, they are so much more. There's so much more. But um, as an adult, having to have dealt with them now as an adult, I basically look at it and say, I hope you're not sending threatening shit. Let me just put it right out there now. I'm not responsible for anyone's stupid shit. You know, threatening people, actually doing weird, crazy, possibly illegal shit. That's not me. I don't have control. Nothing. No control. But I also don't condone it. And if I find out, I'll block your ass because I don't need that. You know? No infiltration. I'm not a group. You know? Unless you're unless you're Sherilyn, you're not part of this whole thing. You know? And I know Sherilyn's not out there doing weird shit. Just so people know. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And you want to know what? As far as everything goes on, I'm good. I have it in hand because heaven has it in hand. I don't need anybody jumping in and doing any kind of weird shit, sending any kind of weird shit to anybody. I don't need help. And I don't want that kind of help at all. None. I don't want that kind of help at all. And that's how it works. I don't need it and certainly do not want it. And so people can do, I have no control. I'm not omnipresent. I can't control people I don't even fucking know on the internet. I don't think anybody has that power. You know? No, I'm not talking about you, Smokey. I know you're not. And again, I don't think what you said was, with that whole situation, I don't think it was threatening at all. You know? I, I, however, emailing and saying, yes, I am. Yes, I am, Anthony Reed, because I don't know who you are. And it's just for anybody who's out there who thinks that they're going to jump in and actually cause chaos. I ain't fucking dealing with it. You know, it's not my responsibility. I am certainly not calling for it. You know, at this point in time, I just suggest everyone just keep doing what everyone's been doing. Sit back and be entertained. Because it's about ready to get very fucking entertaining. And nobody needs to be involved with it. You know? Oh my God, there's no hookers. That's the kind of shit that I go through. You know? The thing about it, Anthony, is what I'm thinking just by watching and the conversations that you have. I've thrown out names. But if you're getting a hold of the sheriff and stuff like that, I have a feeling that you're actually working on the other side trying to cause problems. Because that's what they're saying. That's what Thomas is saying. That all of you are my minions and I'm getting you to do all kinds of weird shit. I'm not getting you and any of you to do any of it. In fact, let me go on record to say, stay the fuck out of it. You know? I've dealt with it thus far pretty damn well. I don't need help, you know, and don't want help from people who have not been involved, who don't know shit, have just seen shit on the internet, and people who actually, you don't have to mention my name, dude. I live in a town of 4,500 people. You think they're not going to figure out where it came, you know? I'm just on record. I'm just on record, you know? Which means I'll just change the title to this because this, as far as I'm concerned, is the most important aspect of this live. You know? If you want to be supportive to me, then you be supportive to me. But being supportive to me and involving yourself with any of these people is uncalled for and unwanted. Flat out. It's not wanted. I don't need it. You know? And to do so, I think, is unhealthy. So if you're compelled to do that, I think it's unhealthy and you need to go seek professional help. Because, you know, opening your heart means doing things in your life where the people that are around you and stuff like that, not ingratiating yourself in other people's lives. And I'm not going to keep my mouth shut, dude. You're a bad guy. You're a bad guy. And what you are upset about is that you thought you would come in here and subtly brag to me. And now I'm actually calling you out, Anthony Reed. And you don't like that. And I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You know? This child trafficking bullshit needs to be investigated, and I'm not going to play fucking games. You know? I'm not going to play games. I've been at this for far too long, Susan. I know how this works. You know? I I know how this works. I'm very aware. I like the truth just fine, dude. I like the truth just fine. I'm on here on video so that everybody sees my face and you are an anonymous name, even though it's a name. I bet it's not your real name with no fucking picture, nothing. You're an anonymous asshole, you know? But you think that you have more credibility than I do. And then you get upset when it doesn't happen, you know? I just, this projecting their bullshit off onto me doesn't work. I've never been a coke addict. Who the fuck could afford it? You know? And let alone the time that they're saying that I was a coke addict, I was taking care of my mom. And so I was dealing with doctors and nurses and hospice and all of that as a coke addict. That's why I said I don't live in a vacuum. I didn't even really understand what the fucking whole concept of a sawed off shotgun. I thought, why would anyone saw off a shotgun? Doesn't that ruin the value of it? You know? They're just in here trying to create chaos. That's what they're trying to do. But I'm glad that the dickhead said, oh, well, I emailed your sheriff because now it gives me a thing to be right online, right on record. You know? I've stood behind my claims. I stand behind my claims, Anthony Reed. But you're not involved. You're not involved with my sheriff. You're not involved with anything. Why the fuck are you emailing anybody? You know? You're not involved. And I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm just calling you out. And I think that you're a game player. I think that you're in here trying to actually do as much. I'm not mad at all. Could give a fuck less. I don't even know who you are. Why would I care? You know? And as far as I'm concerned, I'm actually grateful to you. Because now I have it on record saying, everyone, stay the fuck out of it. Don't email people. Don't call people. Don't do shit. Your involvement is not wanted, nor is it needed. You know? Nobody is reaching out. This group of fucking child traffickers is obsessed with me. But all the rest of you, you have your own lives. You don't need to be obsessed with them. You know? You don't need to do anything. I'm basically just presenting it so that people can see. You know? That people can see. Let me entertain you, because now it's about ready to get really entertaining. I do take responsibility. Why do I have a feeling that you're Geo? You're either Geo, you sound like Geo, you know, Geo Farnsworth, who gets very upset with me because I tell him all the time, coming in and murdering Owen was one thing. I just don't understand why you guys felt you had to brag about it. Because what, you thought I wasn't going to do anything after you bragged about it? Most people who do crimes don't go out and want everyone to give them responsibility for it. They want to keep it secret. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But at least you're in here now and you're not texting me. Constant. The fuck text after text after text after text after text. You know? I think that they should be investigated. I think all of your group, Anthony, Geo, needs to be investigated. That's what I believe. And that's what I'm doing. Oh, I just leave him, Sherilyn. Because that way all of his shit is in here. I'm not running from them, you know? And I know that it's Geo, because Geo's like, oh, I tell them all the time, I'm not Nancy Drew. And anything that I investigated and brought to the table would actually be discredited. Geo, you need to be investigated for a lot of shit. That's what I think. You know? I think that you're involved with a lot of shit. Child trafficking, murder. I wonder if your kids don't need a welfare check because you seem unstable. You know? I know you guys all say that I'm unstable, but I'm doing shit and not obsessed with you. I don't do post after post after post after post after post in the same fucking day, you know? No, dude, you don't even come in as yourself. You're fake. You're an anonymous fake account who's trying to cause issues as an anonymous fake account. And that's the issue that you have. You know? You guys are just bizarre. It's just sad. And you think that all of your anonymous, stupid bullshit actually makes people grasp onto, oh, wow, this anonymous person knows the truth. I think that if they want to investigate me. Go ahead. All I ask is that you investigate what I'm saying, too. Because they won't find shit on me. I mean, I guess it does explain a lot. Maybe I have multiple personality and I don't know that I have multiple personalities. So maybe the whole reason why that whole time that we were starving and my mom was starving and she was on disability and I was fucked up, I was in and out of work all the time, and we were starving, maybe if I wouldn't have been buying so much Coke, we would have had food. I guess. But I don't. Maybe I had a dude giving me cocaine for free for so many years because I couldn't afford it. You know, it I just, that's why I didn't know yesterday what to say, because the shit was so stupid that I just didn't know how to respond to it because it was just so dumb. You know, I stand behind it. Thomas Schoenberger, Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, Geo Farnsworth, Daniel Dowd, Cabe Hoffman, DeFango, Terry Joyce. They all need to be investigated. The whole Dead Isaac Cappy Club needs to be investigated. Those I'm saying if people want to do something and you actually want to do it, investigate Live Isaac Happy and then those two lead singers, whose names I forget and I don't have my thing, but I bet that Sherilyn can go. I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all. I know that you want to elicit an emotional response. I know you do. I know you're in here constantly wanting to elicit an emotional response, but you're not going to get one, you know, because I don't care. Nope, Web 191 needs to be still hidden, Sherilyn. You unhid him. And Hitler definitely needs to be. I did not just get angry at you, Geo. I'm not angry at you at all. You go out of your way to be frustrating and irritating. And then when people actually get frustrated and irritated with your stupidity, then you turn it on them and say, "Oh, look, that they're crazy." But your weird ass crazy bullshit, you're poking me with the stick and all of that. That shit is all on you, dude. It's not on me. It's not on me. It shows what you're trying to do and you're failing. You're failing and people can see that you're failing. I'm not angry, you know? But it's been a long week of dealing with idiots. It's been a long week of dealing with things that are so idiotic that it just defies words. You know, it just defies words. Now, had they said I was a pothead those years, I couldn't have argued at all. You know, I couldn't have argued at all. And the pot was fairly cheap. And I did have friends who I did stuff for them, and a lot of them were dealing. So, you know, Anthony, and now you're actually trying to actually go after people that are in this room. You know, if you can't elicit reaction from me, now you're going to actually focus on other people that you don't even know in this room. And again, you think your weird ass unstable shit looks it you know, you think it reflects on other people and it doesn't. It just reflects on you because now you're actually, Jesus does love me. Jesus loves all of us. That's the whole thing, you know. And the sad part about it, Anthony Reed, he says they don't know me either, or do you? Your issue is none of us want to. None of us even care who you are. We don't want to know who you are, you know. And because it's based on what you do, you blame all of us, even though you're the only constant. But there's nobody in here who really cares about you, dude. You know, it's that's the sad part about it. The gas station explosion should be book number two. Yeah. What the book number two is everything that happened when I publish after I published Rabbit Hole. That's the second one. You know. Oh, Anthony, give it up. You know. Now you're gonna be super Christian. Oh, he cusses. You know. Nobody knows Anthony. Nobody wants to know Anthony. That's Anthony's problem. And that's just it, a swear word. Dude, I think if you got into a room with a bunch of us, your ears would start on fire. It's just, with that, I'm going to pray because I'm going to keep this short because I have shit that I want to do today. And I'm just not, Dan knows who I am. And we I just because he's a farmer there too. So it's not just he was the gas station owner, he was a farmer as well. And dealing with me out here is not. I'm a bit of a controversial figure out here, as you can all imagine. I hope you're all sitting down. And he knows, everyone in town knows that I won't let that gas station go. I won't. Why would I? You know? It's the easiest way to prove what I'm proving. You know? It's the easiest one. Oh, Anthony, give it up. It's not problematic in your mind, you know? Because let me just point out that you were trying to get my support and for me to give you kudos because you started this whole thing saying that you wrote Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross an email. So now it's being all switched around. That's what happens with your group. Your arguments don't stay consistent, and they're all over the place. And they go from one extreme to another extreme to another extreme to another extreme. Hey, cognitive. And because they're so chaotic, and then you want to blame other people for that shit. You want other people to be responsible for the shit that you yourself are responsible for. And I think that the ICE protests are good. I think that what they're doing is illegal. You know, I stand on my word. I stand on my word. What I don't do is come in here as a fake ass account and play a bunch of games. That would be you. You know, that would be you. I have stood. There's not much I can do more. I've been public about everything. You know, and I just keep saying the same shit over and over and over. But I really do think that you're Geo. You know, the thing about it is that I just think that there's a better way to do it. I'm just afraid the whole ice breakdown and all of that is fascist in nature. It is a slippery slope, and it it won't just stop for immigrants. That's it never does. Historically speaking, it doesn't stop for immigrants. So I think that the people who are standing up are not standing up so much that they're standing up against ICE, but they're standing up against fascism. You know, that's what I think they're doing. And it's all a distraction from God. I completely agree. It's all bread and circuses. They're entertaining us with all this other stupid shit. You know, Anthony Reed does sound like Arthur Reed, cognitive. You know, let me again reiterate all of you who listen to these, you are to do nothing. Pray, show support in here. That's everything. But sending out threatening emails or getting involved or sending out emails of any kind to people that you're not involved with and all of that stuff is unhealthy and it's weird and it's unwanted. And nobody I certainly don't need it. I don't want it. You know? And that's how this whole thing with this Anthony Reed person started. Is oh well I sent out. Well, don't, you know? Because obviously you did it and you're crazy or you are a troublemaker because you were just in here trying to cause trouble, you know? And I am not omnipresent. I do not have the control over fucking anybody but myself. And I'm not even going to pretend that I do. However, let me be on record. I don't need anybody to do shit. I don't need you to get involved with any of this, you know? I didn't cower down, and the sheriff didn't confront me. What he wanted was he wanted me to confront him, and I didn't give him what he wanted. You know, Ant is a joke. Ant is part of them. He is Geo. He's either Geo or he's Daniel. Daniel Dowd, or he's Lucian Greaves, or he's Thomas Schoenberger, or he's DeFango, or he's Ron Patton, or Craig Sawyer. They're all part of this fucking group that needs to be investigated. They all need to be investigated, and they need to be stopped. And that's why they're in here playing all kinds of stupid ass games. You know? Oh my God. I'm a coward, but you're in here with a fake anonymous name, with a fake anonymous account. But I'm the coward. You know? Jesus criminy. These people don't have any self reflect, no introspection whatsoever. None. And they think their stupid shit is so much more valuable than what it is. You know? I'm going to pray. Heaven, we come to you as your children. Things are just getting crazy. The volcanoes are starting to explode. There's 3 city killer asteroids that are on their way that we didn't recognize before because they are coming from Venus and we can't see them usually because of the sun. And so things are going to get intense. Things are already intense. And we just ask for your grace and your give us, make us strong so that we're able to support each other. What I've realized that these child killers are so delusional anymore that to argue with them doesn't even make sense anymore. You know, it goes nowhere. It's like arguing with crazy people. And I just don't see the point. That's why I've been doing the stuff that I've been doing, you know, working on stuff that on a much more personal level. Enjoying life rather than focusing. Let people hear my words, that they stay out of it. That they stay out of it. I'm not responsible for anything that they do, and I'm not calling them to do anything that they're doing. That's why Thomas says I'm trying to get my so called minions to do shit. I'm not doing that. They're doing that to me. They're doing videos that are calling for violence against me and burning my house down and all of that shit. They've been doing that for a while now. And then they want to say that I'm doing it to them, even though they're doing it to me. But we're called to have faith and no fear. And so I'm just going to keep plodding along the way I have been. And whatever happens is in your hands. We're grateful that you sent your son, Jesus Christ, down and to teach us the word, live a life that we're to emulate. And I'm trying to do as best as I can. And I say these things lovingly in your son, our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. And so, oh, Gio, give it up. I'm just. So, for those of you who are interested, who are new to this is the book that I wrote and got nominated for Book of the Year. You can get these on Amazon. I sell them. I actually sell them personally. Um, my PayPal and my Venmo is D Shurter. Um, because it was a month where I got hit with a bunch of shit. I have like $5 and it's what, like the eighth. It's just poverty sucks. Poverty sucks. But I take donations if you feel compelled. Nothing is too small. It's all appreciated. It's all appreciated. Um, Plus, I'm gonna have to renew some of the stuff on the blog. My blog is davidshurter.com. But Anthony, I don't give a shit what you do. You're a game player. And I'm going to send this to Sheriff Neil Gross so that whatever weird ass shit you sent him, he's going to know that it was a game, that it was going to be a play, that you were playing games. And then it's just going to make it so that when you're all doing the shit, they can see that it's just a concerted effort and it's all the same fucking thing. Not only did you not piss me off, you actually helped me out today. You alerted me to something I wasn't actually aware of. So thank you for telling me that you sent an email to my sheriff, you know, because your email is your responsibility. 87, 68. They're filling this thing with fucking bots again. And I don't get the point. I guess I'm not into social media stuff, but I don't get the point of why they do this. Why spend the money for it? You know, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't get any more views. My views will stay consistent. What ends up happening is when I'm done with this, it'll show me the number of who was in there. But it also counts bots because 88. It's Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth. It's a fucking bunch of child killers and murderers who are trying to play games. That's what's happening, is that they're playing games. And a lot of these bots come, you know, oh my God, everyone in town knows about the meth operation that's in town, dumbass. You know, everyone does. Everyone does. That's how I found out about it. Because everybody talks about it. Again, it just needs to be fucking investigated by someone other than me. I don't give a shit. I'm sending them all this. You know, your little anonymous fucking account that, you know, and you're sending, and you start off by saying that you sent my sheriff a weird email and thought I was going to what, pat you on the head? You know, tell you how wonderful you are? No. No. And nobody asked you to do anything. Nothing. I didn't ask you to do shit. I don't ask people to do shit. I don't need anybody to do shit. I'm quite capable of doing it myself. You know? Don't need help. Don't need help. Don't want help. You know? That's just the way it is. You know? I've been at this for far too long. Far, far, far too long. And Thomas Schoenberger and Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, and you, Geo Farnsworth, you know, you need to be investigated, dickhead, by someone other than me, because nothing that I bring to the table, it would all be discredited. Anything I brought to the table would be discredited. You fucking discredit everything now, you know? That's the reason why I want it to be investigated. And I'm sure there's way more there than even I'm even aware of, you know, because I don't investigate people. I think that you need to be investigated. That's what needs to happen. So if people are actually going to do this, I think that you need to be investigated. Not harassed, but I think that the police and legal authorities and stuff like that need to look at your fucking felon asses. Because most of you are fucking criminals. Already have a rap sheet. You do realize, Geo Farnsworth, that Thomas Schoenberger was sending out your rap sheet to everybody in emails, right? You do realize that, right? He sent that to Sheriff Neil Gross. Everyone's gotten it. Everyone's gotten the shit. You know, you do realize that, right? Your group has no allegiances to each other. You're all going to throw each other under the bus. Every one of you. You're not friends. That's the whole thing. You may work together. You may be conspirators in criminality together, but you're not friends. You have no allegiances, you know, to each other. The only thing that you can trust about each other is that you can't trust each other. That's the only thing you can trust. I know this game. I know this game. And you can say whatever the fuck it is you want to say, you know? All you said, Smokey, was say that to my face and it will be the last face you say to. And anybody who's getting called a pedophile who's not a pedophile, that is the proper and adequate response, I think the majority of people would have responded exactly like that. You know, exactly like that. But yes, you're Smokey's right. I told him, dude, don't threaten anybody on my shit. Not to do any. Nobody's to do any fuck. I tell you to fill your hearts with love, and so you do stupid shit. And so how is that? And I'm not saying you, Smokey. I'm just saying, just in general, you know. And so, oh, now you're keeping it at 66 and 72. The numbers, they're just paying money for bots. I don't get the point. I don't get the point. You know, I don't get the point. It's never been numbers for me. And so that's Daniel Dowd and Geo Farnsworth and Thomas Schoenberger and Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, and Tara Joyce and DeFango and Corey Daniel, the Phoenix Enigma, and Gabe Hoffman and Ron Patton. And they're all involved with this fucking Satanist, occultist, child trafficking bullshit. I didn't even know that most of them fucking existed until they started attacking me, you know? And they all have these fucking arguments that you run you around in circles that you can't win because they just keep switching it, you know? Sufu Sage. Oh, are you in here in another account, Geo? You all come in here on different accounts, you know? I'm sure you're not coming in here with a fake ass account. Oh, you know, whatever. Fake ass name, no picture, fake ass account. But you're supposed to believe every word they say when they say that they're out there in the open, you know? Because what? You're all stupid? That's what they think. That's obviously what they think. They think everybody is fucking stupid. With that said, I'm going to get off here. It's been 57 minutes. This has been a fairly decent one. I think that, you know, the lines have been drawn in the sand. If you come in here and start acting like a dumbass kid, you're going to get blocked. You know, I don't back down on anything, Anthony. I've actually said it over and over and over now, Geo. You know, you need to be investigated. You need to be investigated. And your little sewer town friends in here that are all in here, you know, it's just sad, you know? And you think that your pathetic, stupid shit is actually going to make a difference. And it's not. I'm not mad, Anthony. You haven't gotten an emotional reaction at all. You can say that all you want, but you did not get an emotional reaction. You actually, again, helped me. Because now I'm on record, flat out saying, don't need any help from any of you. Don't be sending out emails. Don't be sending out doing anything, you know? Nothing. And if you do, it's on you. If you send the fucking police a threatening email, that's on you. You weren't asked. In fact, you were asked exactly not, you know? No, you don't have to block Anthony. Oh no, it's Geo. Leave his shit, you know? Leave his shit. We've seen him mad and that's not mad. Exactly. I'm not making false claims, Geo. I would have never thought that you were involved with Owen's death had you not fucking bragged about it, you stupid dipshit. You know? Had you and Daniel Dowd posted live videos of Harlan, you know? So I would have never known that you were involved had you not gone out of your way to brag about it. And now you're fucking butthurt because I'm letting you be responsible. You know, you wanted to brag about it. You wanted responsibility. You wanted accountability. Now I'm just giving that to you, and you're in here whining like a little bitch. But I would have never even suspected anything had you not been stupid enough to brag about it. And then you get upset with me when I say, I mean, obviously, my information just comes from watching television, but I thought when someone murders someone, they go out of their way to try and hide it, not brag about it and let everybody know about it. I just, I've never heard of anybody bragging, but then you think you're untouchable, you know? You think you're untouchable. Thomas thinks he's untouchable, you know? Chris Mackenzie Jones thinks he's untouchable. Ella High Priest down in Australia, untouchable. Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple, untouchable. God is about ready to touch all of you. And you're going to find out how untouchable you're not. You can be touched. In fact, in so many ways, you are touched. You know, but with that said, I prayed. I'm out of here.